is on for a Mississippi college student who disappeared 1 week ago. Jimmie J. Lee was last seen leaving an apartment near the University of Mississippi on July 8th, according to police.
At about 6 o'clock in the morning at his apartment complex, Campus Walk Apartments, but then his car was discovered on Monday at Molly Barb Trails. Now, that's a separate apartment complex, and police believe that maybe he was going there to see someone. What's unclear is the timeline. Did he go straight from his house to this other person's apartment? What was he doing there?
Jay! Where is Jay? 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 Where is Jay?
Hi, I'm Jimmie Lee's father, Jimmie J. Lee, the Ole Miss student that's been missing. I'm calling and reaching out to anyone that could have any information to help in his return. First of all, I want to thank my family and friends in my community from Jackson, Mississippi that's been instrumental in encouraging. I thank for Oxford community for their involvement in helping and even in everything that you guys are doing. I want to say that you've been very kind. It's that I would like for everyone to understand who my son is and know that he's a hard worker. My son, was currently working on an effort to provide infant formula for children that did not have it available to them. I can remember my son coming to this college, being willing to face the unknown without a problem. I'm so proud of him for that. Want everyone to know that whether you're black, white, green, polka dot, it doesn't matter who you are, he was there to help if you saw the need. I'm asking that if anyone knows anything or sees anything, say something. Contact the law enforcement. Just tell them what you know. This is my plea that you help find my child. Thank you.
At 5:54 a.m. on July 8th, police say Ole Miss student Jay Lee sent a Snapchat message to Tim Harrington Jr. telling him he was coming to his apartment. At 5:56 a.m., investigators say there was a Google search on Harrington's computer for how long does it take to strangle someone. That was just the tip of the iceberg when it came to the evidence that Assistant District Attorney Tiffany Kilpatrick presented in Lafayette County Circuit Court before the judge ruled to hold Harrington without bond. Detective Ryan Baker says they believe Lee was on his way to meet Harrington when he left his apartment for the last time. In a video of Harrington's first interview with Oxford police, Harrington admits to having a sexual relationship with Lee.
Because they was communicating.
What do you mean communicating?
On text messaging, phone calls, or whatever.
I know the type of young man he is. He does not have it in him to kill anyone.
Despite his uncle's claims at the time, investigators said otherwise after uncovering surveillance footage and bodily fluids, among other evidence.
Oxford police obtained a copy of a Snapchat conversation between Lee and Harrington and say the last location it shows for Lee is near Harrington's apartment at Lafayette Place.
Even with those findings, Lee's body has yet to be found, leaving his family awaiting closure.
Action News 5 obtained the affidavit of the crime today. Inside, strong language indicating what's led Oxford police to charge the 22-year-old with first-degree murder. Reading, quote, Sheldon Timothy Harrington Jr. on or about the 8th day of July 2022 did feloniously, willfully, and unlawfully with deliberate design to effect the death of Jimmie Dale Lee III, a human being. Kill Jimmie Dale Lee III.
Day one of Timothy Harrington Jr.'s capital murder trial comes to an end, a day with emotional testimony about former Ole Miss student Jimmie J. Lee from friends and family he spoke with before he was reported missing in July of 2022. Lee was declared legally dead in November of this year. His body never been found. Action News 5's Bria Bolden was inside the courtroom in Oxford. Bria, what arguments are the prosecution and defense making?
Yeah, well, prosecutors are basically saying that Tim Harrington lured Jimmie J. Lee over to his apartment in Oxford and then killed him. However, Harrington's defense is saying since there's no body, you can't prove that Jimmie Lee is actually dead. Both sides, though, do agree that both of the men at some point in time did have a sexual relationship with one another. Stephanie Lee, Jimmie J. Lee's mother, was the first witness to testify today. She said her son sent her a birthday message July 8th, 2022, and then she never heard from him again. Lee was interning in Oxford during the summer of 2022 and was a well-known member of the city's LGBTQ community. Kevin Horan, Harrington's defense attorney, questioned Lee's good friend Jose Reyes about Lee's sexual preferences, gender identity, and insinuated Lee dressed in a feminine way to seduce men who did not identify publicly as gay. Reyes pushed back against this, saying Lee identified as a gay man and was comfortable in his own skin. The prosecution's last witness this afternoon told the jury he was on FaceTime with Lee the night before he was reported missing, and Lee told him he was heading to meet up with a guy he had had an argument with earlier that day.
I would tell him that like a down low man or like a man who isn't comfortable with their sexuality is not someone you want to be out here hooking up with. I was like, because, you know,
what did you tell him?
I told him, I said they will kill you before their dirty little secret gets exposed.
The prosecution and defense had lengthy conversations this evening about whether or not messages the defense wanted to use as evidence where Lee and Fears, that's the witness you just heard from, discussed choking and being aggressive during sexually related activities could be used as evidence. The prosecution pushed back on this and questioned if its use was to embarrass and shame the victim in this case, Jimmie J. Lee. It was eventually allowed to be used during testimony today. So there are almost 50 witnesses on the witness list for this trial. So we're expecting this trial to last a couple weeks.
You know, I'm always thinking about him, but it gets deep sometimes where, you know, you feel like you're falling apart just thinking about he's not here. Wanting my son, you know, I do. You just want him back, you know, and, you know, like I pray that God will reveal that through whatever means necessary, you know, by whomever that he puts it in their heart to say, I gotta go ahead and talk.